Welcome back to CarWow 787, where we break down everything that keeps the rigs rolling: old school diesels, modern tech, and the heart of every big truck, the engine. Whether you're wrenching in the shop, driving cross-country, or just a fan of raw diesel power, this is the place for no-nonsense truck talk. If that sounds like your kind of thing, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single drop of oil, torque, or horsepower. Today we're stepping back in time and taking a deep look at a true classic, the Cummins L10 engine. Let's get right into it. When you bring up Cummins engines, a few names always float to the top: the 14 ISX, maybe the 5.9 if you're thinking about pickups. But the L10, that one sits in a special corner of diesel history. It might not get the spotlight today, but back in the 80s and 90s, the L10 was a workhorse. It wasn't the biggest, it wasn't the loudest, but it got the job done. And a lot of folks who drove one will tell you straight it was reliable, easy to service, and had just enough power to make it worthwhile. The L10 first rolled out in the mid-1980s, designed to fill the gap between Cummins' smaller mid-range engines and their big-bore heavy-duty lineup. We're talking about a 10-liter inline-six direct-injection diesel engine, putting out anywhere from around 240 to 315 horsepower depending on the configuration and year. Torque: somewhere in the 800 to 1,200 pounds FT range. Not a torque monster by today's standards, but plenty respectable back then, especially for lighter highway trucks, dump trucks, city haulers, and even buses. One of the big selling points of the L10 was its compact size. Compared to the massive 14-liter and 15-liter engines, the L10 was lighter and more versatile. That made it a good fit for fleets that didn't need to haul 80,000 pounds coast to coast every day. Regional haulers, vocational trucks, garbage trucks, and even some school buses used the L10 because it had that sweet spot of power and economy. It gave you a decent balance without punishing fuel consumption or adding unnecessary weight. Now under the hood, the L10 was pretty simple. One of the reasons it earned a reputation for being easy to maintain. It had a mechanical fuel system in the early versions, with an inline Bosch pump that guys could tune with a wrench and some patience. No fancy computers or sensors to babysit the engine. If something broke, you could usually fix it on the side of the road or back in the shop without needing a laptop or dealership scanner. That's part of why it stuck around for so long. Mechanics liked it, fleet managers liked it, and for the most part, drivers trusted it. Eventually, Cummins did add electronic controls to the L10 as emission standards tightened. That gave birth to the Select and later Select Plus versions, which brought electronic fuel injection into the game. That gave the engine better throttle response, more consistent performance across different conditions, and paved the way for diagnostics. But even with those electronic upgrades, the L10 remained a straightforward engine at heart. It never tried to be fancy, it just focused on running well. Durability-wise, the L10 could hold its own. The block was solid cast iron, the crankshaft was forged steel, and the overall design was simple but strong. These engines could run for 500,000 miles or more with proper care. Of course, being a smaller engine in a big truck world, it had its limitations. It wasn't designed for pulling max loads up steep grades all day long. But if you stayed within its capabilities and maintained it, it would return the favor mile after mile. Now, the L10 wasn't perfect. Like any engine, it had a few pain points. Cylinder head cracking was one issue that popped up occasionally, especially in high-mileage engines or those that got hot too often. The mechanical fuel pumps, while rugged, could wear out and start causing fuel delivery issues. And once the electronic versions came out, the early Select systems sometimes had problems with EC misfailing or sensors acting up. But none of these were catastrophic flaws. They were just part of owning and maintaining an older diesel engine. What really gave the L10 its place in trucking history was its role as a transition engine. It bridged the old-school mechanical era with the emerging electronic age. Guys who drove trucks in the 70s and early 80s were used to everything being mechanical: no electronics, no sensors, just fuel, air, and compression. The L10 introduced electronic fuel injection in a way that wasn't overwhelming. It brought reliability and consistency without overwhelming complexity. In some ways, the L10 walked so the M11 and later ISM could run. Cummins used a lot of what they learned on the L10 to build the next generation of midsize heavy-duty engines. The M11, which replaced the L10 in the late 90s, took the basic platform and improved on it with better electronics, stronger internals, and more horsepower. But many mechanics and drivers still look back at the L10 as the simpler, more forgiving engine. And there's something to be said about that simplicity. Today's engines are engineering marvels, no doubt tons of horsepower, crazy torque, emission systems that clean the air better than some passenger cars. But with that comes complexity, more things to go wrong, more sensors, more modules, more diagnostics. The L10 is from a time when trucks were still a little more about steel, fuel, and elbow grease. It didn't try to outsmart the driver, it just did what it was told. Even today, you can still find trucks running with an L10 under the hood. They're not as common on the highway, but in local work, vocational trucks, and even export markets, the L10 keeps turning over. And for those who like to rebuild their own engines, parts are still out there. Cummins support, aftermarket suppliers, even old stock parts on shelves in shops that have been around a while. It's not hard to keep one alive if you know where to look. If you're ever in a yard and hear that low, steady purr from an older box truck or mixer, take a closer listen. It might just be an L10 doing its thing. Not flashy, not loud, just consistent. That's the legacy it leaves behind, a reliable, no BS diesel engine that helped shape the modern medium-duty market. It's also worth mentioning that the L10 had some variants over its lifespan. There were natural gas versions that showed up in buses and municipal fleets, giving cities a cleaner burning option back when emissions rules were tightening up. Those CNG L10s didn't have the same power, but they proved that the engine platform could adapt. Cummins wasn't afraid to experiment with the L10, and that versatility made it last even longer in certain sectors. There's a lot of respect in the diesel world for engines that just keep going. The L10 isn't the biggest name in the Cummins lineup, but it's one of the most quietly dependable ones. It's like that one trucker who's been running the same route for 30 years without ever making a fuss. Doesn't show off, doesn't break down, just gets the job done day after day. So if you're into diesel history, or maybe thinking about restoring an older truck, don't sleep on the L10. It might not win any dyno contests or get featured in truck shows, but it's one of those engines that reminds us what made diesel trucking great in the first place: simplicity, reliability, and purpose-built strength. And if you're lucky enough to drive one today, hold on to it. They don't make them like that anymore. Sure, today's tech is faster and cleaner, but there's something satisfying about turning the key and hearing that L10 rumble to life with no complaints. Channel outro. That wraps up today's breakdown of the Cummins L10. If you enjoyed this trip into diesel history, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We've got more deep dives coming: engines, trucks, gear, and real-world insight from the road and the shop. Got experience with the L10.